Hello everyone. So I am officially a law school graduate. Yay! It hasn't really hit me yet, probably because it doesn't really mean anything until you've actually passed the bar. But it is exciting. It's like one chapter done, and the next chapter is bar prep, which although it's a short chapter, it's going to probably feel way longer than law school. So I'm going to talk to you about that. I don't know, I guess I'll go back a little bit farther than that. So I talked to you right after I finished finals, and thank you for all the positive feedback about the girly video that I made. That was fun and kind of, something new. And then after that, I basically just spent a few days hanging out, getting to relax a little bit finally. And then my family and some friends came into town for graduation, and I had my last day of work, which was really bittersweet. I had to make a going away packet thing so that the new summer intern would have something to start with, and it felt good knowing how much I've learned, because writing that out, it was all stuff that all this knowledge I've acquired over the last year, and very specific knowledge about our clients, and just made me feel like what I have been doing is actually teaching me something. Sometimes it takes that stepping away to realize that things have actually been happening, if that makes sense, because when you're just doing the day-to-day stuff, it can get really repetitive. So yeah, I did that, and it's kind of hard to, hand over the torch, so to speak. You don't want that new person to replace you, or just, you want your bosses to still feel like you're unique and that they need you, which I think I'm fine with. I had conversations with my bosses before I left, and it still looks like I'm going to be there once I am done with the bar exam, so that's really great, and I'm thankful for that. And on my last day, one of my bosses and my coworker took me out to lunch, and then after work, another boss took me out for drinks at the Four Seasons, and that was really fun because we had never done anything like that before. We're all just very busy at my work, so it's not really the type of place where we go and get happy hour drinks, although I would love that. So that was great, and then right after I had those happy hour drinks, I went just across the street to my graduation dinner with my parents, and it was amazing, just so fun. I mean, it just felt so much more special than a birthday. I mean, I know on a birthday somebody takes you out and it's your day, but it just felt so much more deserved, I guess, I had actually done something, not just been born on that day. And we had a really amazing bottle of wine. Anybody who knows wine out there will probably appreciate that we had a 1991 Opus 1 that they had been saving for my graduation day, and it was so the cork was so delicate that the sommelier at the restaurant had to take it downstairs, and they were all nervous about ruining it for us, but it ended up being amazing. So that was great. And then graduation was fantastic. Got sentimental, as I knew that I would, and one of our friends was the student speaker, and she was great, and her whole speech was basically just inside jokes that only we got. So I had kind of heard from some people that her speech wasn't good for the people who didn't know the inside jokes, but I mean, I did, so it was fantastic. Yeah, then I just spent some time with family for a few days, and then a group of my law school friends and I went camping. We went to this place where you have to hike 5.5 miles in just to get to your campsite, which obviously means you have to hike 5.5 miles out. And then you're just on this beautiful cliff. There's the ocean right there. Or it's not really a cliff, kind of, that you could walk to a cliff. Anyways, it was beautiful. That's the point. And I just had such a good time. We had bonfires and just drank whiskey the whole time, and it was fantastic. I really was not used to having legitimately nothing to do all day. I mean, when you're camping, you wake up and it's basically you just survive. That's what you do all day. Not like we were ever at risk of dying, but you know what I mean. You just get up and you hang out. And then we came back from that, and one of my really good friends, he's my best friend actually, besides my roommate, he did move away, And so during those few days after camping, we were basically just like going out with him every night to celebrate / mourn his departure. So that was really hard, and it's still pretty hard because it's a bit distracting. I mean, when there's somebody who like is obviously important to you, as a best friend is, and you spend a lot of time with them, it's just like you have to, you know, resettle yourself, get into a new sort of routine of things. So hopefully his absence is not permanent. That's what we're all hoping. But you know, the job market can be tough, and so yeah, he's an example of someone who had to kind of go away and look for jobs in our city from afar, and a few people have had to do that. So I, again, feel really lucky that I get to stay here, and hopefully he gets to come back. And I think that pretty much puts us up to present. Okay, so I started my bar prep course, which I'm taking Kaplan, and the first week is a diagnostic, which is basically that it's a diagnostic for the multiple choice part of the bar exam, which is basically that they test you on where you are in certain subjects, and each day we're going to do something different. So what we do is we come into the classroom and we spend 2 hours doing a 50-question multiple choice exam, and then we take a lunch, and when we come back we watch a lecture that will go over all the answers and like why those are the answers to the questions. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. And yeah, so right now it's not really about the actual like substance, it's just about testing where we are on things. And you know, I haven't really like done that well on the diagnostics, but I just have to keep reminding myself that, you know, that's the point of a diagnostic, is just to test where you are. And furthermore, the whole point of a bar review course, and why we paid thousands of dollars to take it, is so that they can, you know, get us in a place where we can pass the bar exam. So I shouldn't stress too much about it. So far, I mean, I feel like this schedule is pretty easy. It's not that it's not time consuming. I mean, it is, but it's, I don't know, I just feel like it doesn't require as much thinking as my law school classes did. But we'll see. I've obviously only been in it for less than a week. Hopefully it'll continue to feel this easy, but we'll see. Next week we're going to start having class from 9 to 1, and then we'll have like homework in the evening, so I'll probably be done around 4 or 5. Okay, so now that I've spent like a ton of this video basically just catching you up on where I am, I can maybe say something substantive. Oh, there were 2 things I was going to talk about. The first one was basically like what I did to get my job, and then also the type of work that I do there. And then the second one was basically like to explain a day in the life of a law student, which I'll try to remember because I'm not technically a law student anymore. So for the first topic, I wish that I had some better strategy to explain for this, because honestly, sometimes I just feel like it was pure luck. I mean, I guess not. I obviously did things to get the job, but it wasn't through like the channels that you would normally expect, I guess. But that's the thing. A lot of law jobs come out of just talking to people and networking. So it's definitely a skill that you should work on. I got this job basically through, you know, a series of events. My first summer job, after my 1L year, I worked for a music distribution company. And it's they do independent artists, so just a small company here. And one of the, I don't know if he was like an investor or like a co-founder. I keep hearing different things. Somehow he was involved with that company. This attorney who went to my school and then now teaches the entertainment law class there. And I had heard about it, but since I had tried to get into his class, but I couldn't because it only took 30 students, and 3Ls get like the first chance to sign up, and at the time I was a 2L, so I was really bummed about it. But I called his office and got an informational interview. Just to refresh anyone's memories, an informational interview is basically just sitting down with someone and talking to them about anything you want to talk to them about, you know. Usually in this field, it's talking to them about how they got to their current position because you want to get there too. So yeah, we had an informational interview, and that was really great. and he told me that I should come and audit his class, which is basically, if you don't know, that's where you just go and sit in on a class even though you're not enrolled. And he told me the specific dates when they were going to be talking about music, which that's my central focus in my career. So that was nice of him to tell me that, so I didn't have to go to all the other classes. And so I went and sat in for those classes, which not only was it informative, but it looked good because I followed through on something we talked about in my conversation. And then also this group that I'm a part of on campus put did a panel of speakers, and I found out he was going to be on it, so I went and saw that. I mean, all of this is about persistence, obviously. Like, I had my sights on this person because, I forgot to mention, so, not only was he this co-founder or investor or whatever in this company I'd already worked for, but he taught the entertainment law class, and he had his own entertainment law firm in the city that I live in. So it was, perfect, So I really wanted to know this person, and if not for a job, just to know him as like a contact, So yeah, I went to this panel, and afterwards I went up and talked to him because he had mentioned something in the panel about how they hire interns and they pay. So I was like, yeah, I want that job. So I went up and talked to him about it, and when I talked to him about it, he said something like, oh, it's actually an internship for the fall, and I was kind of confused, and so, but I applied anyway, and then, long story short, obviously I got the job. So that's basically what I mean about it wasn't technically through like normal channels. Like, it wasn't through my school's job board or anything like that. And in fact, I don't think that this particular firm even lists through our job board, which is surprising because, he is an alum of the school and he teaches a class, so you'd think he would utilize that. But no, it's way more about word of mouth. And then the intern who now works there this summer heard about the job from me and got a recommendation from me. So, this is just the way that things work, and you should always keep your eyes open for opportunities like that to get to know people who can help you, even though, that sounds like you're using them, but, maybe you are. It's just how we play the game. There are some fields of law where it's a much more formal way that you go about getting a job, such as, like, criminal law. I'm assuming, like, if you're working for the government, you can't just, like, walk up to some other government attorney and be like, hey, let's get drinks so you can like me and then hire me. I think you have to actually go through the process of working for the court, and then, I don't know, though, don't take my word for it. I obviously don't work in criminal law. But there are some fields, such as entertainment law, where it's way more about networking. So that's how I got my job. And what we do there at my work is, so we're a very small firm as far as how many people we have there, but we do have a lot of clients, and we cater to a lot of needs, not just contracts. Basically because music law has gotten so different in the last, couple decades, you can't really just survive on recording contracts anymore. So we do all kinds of things. We do licensing deals, copyright registration, registering them with the different performing rights organizations, which are the companies that collect money when songs are played, when songs are used in like movies or TV shows or a variety of other situations. Well, actually, no, those would be licenses. The PROs actually collect money, I think, for like, for example, internet radio and things like that. So, yeah, we handle that sort of thing, and then randomly we will handle, like, if there's like a breach of a lease, because we just want to be able to help our clients as best we can. But we'll only do it obviously if we feel like we know that area of the law, or that we can get to know it, because that's actually a moral, or not a moral, an ethical obligation thing. And then recently, in the past like couple years, we've started to do some litigation, but we've never gone to trial. So if our case goes to trial in September, that will be the firm's first trial in general, my first trial, obviously. And so it's been really fun learning how to do pre-trial stuff with the firm, because even though these attorneys are much older than me, they've also never done this stuff, so we're learning it together. And I don't feel as like behind, So yeah, that's just a really short overview. Moving on to a day in the life of a law student. Like I said, I will try to remember what it was like. It would be different every semester and every day. Every semester because you're in different classes, and every day because you don't have the same classes every day. Like, some classes will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, some Tuesday, Thursday, obviously. And then also once I started working, my work hours would be totally random because they'd be based on when I had classes. So I will just tell you kind of about my last semester, since that was the most recent one and what I can remember. During the semester, I wake up at 7:30 every day because my earliest class was 9:40, and if I went to work in the morning, I didn't have to be there till 9:30. So 9:30 to 9:40, and 7:30 is plenty of time. So I'd get up. What I do in the morning is I always try to have some time for myself just to start out the day, because I'm not exactly a morning person, but I can make myself a morning person if I have some time for myself, that I can start off the day not feeling like I'm doing a bunch of things that I don't want to do, which I will, obviously get to, but just let me have my me time first. So I usually get up and I start breakfast and coffee, and I watch some shows on my DVR and just have my coffee and my breakfast, and yeah, and then I pretty strictly do not do any homework. There's like a weird noise happening. I pretty strictly do not do any homework or studying in the morning because, like I said, that's my me time. Plus, that's not my best thinking time. Obviously, people are different, but yeah. Okay, let's say it's a day that I didn't work at all. I would, let's say go to class from 9:40 until 11:50. And then if I had class again at 1, there's no point in going home. So I would go either to the cafe we have on campus to eat and study, or I'd go to the library and study, and then I'd go to class. Most of the time, if I was done with class for the day, I wouldn't stay at the library. Some people do that, and that's just their study style, but I'm pretty much off campus as soon as I can be. So then, class at 1, get out at 3:20. Then I would go home, study until dinner time, and then usually be done at that point. As long as I'm being really efficient in those blocks of time, the earlier hour that I had for lunch, and I was studying during lunch, and then also in the few hours before dinner time, it's usually enough. And after dinner until bedtime, that's completely my free time. But if not, maybe I'll spend an extra hour. But I've said in another video that I always have cutoffs at night because for my own sanity, I need to actually be able to do things before bedtime that don't involve the law, because I don't want to have law-related dreams, and I don't want to be stressed when I'm trying to sleep, So yes, that is a typical day in the life of a law student, and if I seemed like I was rushing in this video, I kind of am, because I'm getting ready to go meet a friend for dinner. So hopefully this was a good enough update for you guys, and I hope everyone is having a good week, and I'll talk to you soon. Give me recommendations for more videos, because I'm kind of running out of ideas.